Once upon a time, in the quiet, sun-baked lanes of Madhapuram, a small village near Tirupuvanam in Tamil Nadu, lived a young man named Ajith Kumar. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, he wasn't a criminal. He was just ordinary. But sometimes, it's the story of the most ordinary person that shakes the ground beneath us. Ajith was 27, a school dropout, the eldest son of a widowed mother, a brother, a caretaker, a temple watchman earning modest wages. He had dreams, small dreams, but dreams nonetheless, of taking care of his family, making ends meet, and living with dignity. But all it took to shatter that dream was one accusation. June 27, 2025. The sun was setting over Madhapuram when two women walked into the Sri Bhadra Kaliamman temple. One of them asked Ajith for a wheelchair for her mother. Like he always did, Ajith helped, pushing the chair gently, offering a polite smile. Hours later, they claimed that 9.5 sovereigns of gold were missing from their car. No one saw the theft, no proof, but suspicion fell, fast and sharp, on Ajith. What followed was not an investigation, it was a hunt. A brutal, inhuman, illegal hunt. Police from the Madurai Special Crime Squad, acting on pressure from above, picked Ajith up. No warrant, no official papers, not even in uniform. They didn't take him to a police station. Instead, they dragged him to deserted spots, dry tank beds, abandoned buildings, cowsheds. Torture began. Not just questioning, not just intimidation, actual third-degree torture. Plastic pipes, wooden rods, bare fists. Beaten until he bled, beaten until he passed out, beaten until he died. Yes, died. His brother Vineeth, who was also picked up, helplessly watched him fade. A temple employee, Saktishwaran, secretly recorded the beating on his phone. In the video, Ajith cries out, screams, pleads, but the blows keep coming. Ajith was never even formally arrested, never produced in court, never given a lawyer. No FIR, no entry in the case diary. Just a young man who vanished and returned dead. Doctors at the Tirupuvan Government Hospital said he was brought dead. The police tried to cover it up, claimed he collapsed while trying to escape custody. But the post-mortem report told the real story. 44 injuries, 18 were severe, bleeding in the skull, injuries in the lungs, throat, vocal cords. Signs of suffocation. Yes, suffocation. Just like George Floyd. You remember Floyd, don't you? That name shook the world in 2020 when an American cop knelt on his neck until he died. That video went viral. That image never left our heads. Well, Ajith Kumar was India's George Floyd, but with no cameras, no media spotlight, and far less outrage. Until now. Because something about Ajith's story, quiet, tragic, brutal, refuses to fade. Why was Ajith targeted so quickly? Why was such brutality unleashed over a simple gold theft accusation? Why didn't the police follow even one legal protocol? Powerful people were allegedly involved. One of the women who filed the complaint reportedly contacted an IAS officer who reached out to a senior cop. That cop put pressure on the district superintendent of police, who directed his officer Shanmuga Sundaram, a deputy superintendent of police, DSP, to solve the case at any cost. At any cost. Those 3 words cost Ajith his life. It was not justice. It was a performance for the powerful. And the victim? A poor, backward caste watchman, an easy scapegoat. Ajith wasn't a name trending on social media until he died. He didn't have a history, no record, no past crimes. But his future? That was taken. wiped clean in less than 48 hours. No courts, no trials, just a beating, a seizure, and silence. Even in death, the system tried to erase him. But voices rose. Ajith's mother cried out, her sobs echoing to the village. His brother fought back, determined to find the truth. Human rights groups, People's Watch, Evidence, filed petitions. Finally, the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court took up the matter. Justice S.M. Subramaniam thundered in court. Can a state kill its own people? No, it cannot, it must not. But in India, it often does. The court demanded a proper investigation. The Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, under pressure and criticism, called Ajith's mother, expressed regret, promised action. The CBI was handed the case. 5 policemen were arrested. DSP Shanmugasundaram was suspended. The special unit that carried out the crime disbanded. But is that enough? Is it ever enough? Ajith's case is not alone. Between 2019 and 2022, Tamil Nadu recorded 490 custodial deaths, the highest in South India. Dalits and Muslims form a huge portion of those victims. The pattern is clear. The poor, the powerless, the voiceless, beaten behind closed doors, dying without answers. Even the Satankulam double murder case, P.J. Raj and his son Benix, tortured to death during the AIDMK regime. That case still drags in court. No conviction, no closure. Why? Because in India, custodial deaths are seen as unfortunate incidents, not murders. The police investigate themselves. Justice moves at a snail's pace, if it moves at all. Compare that with America. All 4 Minneapolis police officers involved in George Floyd's death were convicted. 1 got 22 years. Can you imagine that happening here? Ajith's killers are behind bars, for now. But convictions, sentences, that's a long, uncertain road. So what do? We remember, we speak, we shout Ajith Kumar's name so that the silence can never return. We ask tough questions. Why did a gold theft complaint lead to murder? Why were protocols broken at every step? Who were the senior officers and political links behind this? Why isn't custodial violence a punishable crime under Indian law? India needs a custodial violence act with teeth, with urgency, with accountability. India needs officers who break the law to face the full weight of the law, not transfers, not suspensions, convictions. Ajith's family was given 5 lakh rupees, a piece of land. His brother was given a job. But what about justice? You can't replace a life. You can't undo a killing. You can only prevent the next one. Ajith died crying out, in pain, in fear, in disbelief. His only crime? Being poor, being powerless, being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And now, it's up to us to make sure his name doesn't fade like a statistic. Because Ajith was not a number. He was a life, a brother, a son, a young man who deserved better. Let his story be the one that breaks the cycle. Let his death wake us up. Because if the state can take Ajith's life without fear, then who is really safe? Behind this tragedy lies a painful truth about India's custodial violence crisis. Ajith Kumar, a contractual temple watchman from a backward caste Nadar family with no criminal record, died from savage third-degree torture by police. The post-mortem report detailed 44 external injuries, 18 severe, and internal hemorrhages in the brain, lungs, throat, vocal cords, signs of suffocation. Yes, suffocation, just like George Floyd. You remember Floyd, don't you? That video went viral. That image never left our heads. Well, Ajith Kumar was India's George Floyd, but with no cameras, no media spotlight, and far less outrage. Until now. Because something about Ajith's story, quiet, tragic, brutal, refuses to fade. Why was Ajith targeted so quickly? Why was such brutality unleashed over a simple gold theft accusation? Why didn't the police follow even one legal protocol? Powerful people were allegedly involved. One of the women who filed the complaint reportedly contacted an IAS officer who reached out to a senior cop. That cop put pressure on the district superintendent of police, who directed his officer Shanmugasundaram, a deputy superintendent of police, to solve the case at any cost. At any cost. Those 3 words cost Ajith his life. It was not justice. It was a performance for the powerful. And the victim? A poor, backward caste watchman